Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Country Roads took us home yesterday, an upset when Kentucky knocked off Wake Forest, sending the Demon Deacons to the losers bracket, and the home team West Virginia sent Binghamton our way. So two teams fighting for their postseason lives. The winner stays alive, the loser starts their summer. Should be a fun one today and a beautiful day at the ballpark. Here's a look at our bracket. Later tonight, in the 1-0 game, it's West Virginia against Kentucky. It'll be a rowdy crowd in the building for that one. And we get started with an early one, Wake and Binghamton, to start your Saturday. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jensen Lewis. The story of the day in college baseball yesterday, day one of the tournament, was total chaos. And it impacts this regional because the winner here will face the winner from the Los Angeles Regional. And if you think of it that way, a huge missed opportunity for Wake Forest, which gave away a 3-run lead to Kentucky.
And Kentucky now finding themselves against West Virginia in the 1-0 game. But this is huge because, as you know, with the regional format, a national seed wins their region, they could host a super regional. If UCLA can't make it, oh boy, how about top 4 seed Auburn? They fall to the Horizon League tournament champion Milwaukee. What a day. Little Rock does it again. Number 9, Southern Miss goes down, and they had to wait through a pretty lengthy rain delay, but maybe they shouldn't have shown up. St. Johnny's upsetting the Florida State Seminoles, the number 10 seed. That is 4 of the top 16 seeds to fall, tied for the second most since the current regional format was adopted. What a day of scoreboard watching, and you mentioned it, Tom, that last one on ESPNU. A lot of eyes here in Morgantown on that elimination game between the Bruins and the Hokies.
That's one of 3 1 versus 2 elimination games today. UCLA's loss yesterday was the first time since 1999 when this format debuted, where the number 1 overall seed lost its opener. We'll take you through the Wake result from yesterday and get you set for Binghamton's pitching matchup when we return. Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Picture perfect day for baseball. Temperature in the upper 60s right now. It was not a perfect performance for Wake Forest yesterday, even though they had the hard-throwing Chris Lavonis on the mound. He struck out 6 over 5 innings, but Kentucky was able to bounce back from a 3-run deficit and do some damage. Deacons, despite hitting 3 home runs, ended up falling in their opener.
Well, what happened here is you got Lavonis out early with a high pitch count. You go to the Deacons bullpen, they surrender a lead, and then Jace Tarnish with a heads-up stolen base, but no one decides to keep him close to second. The extra 90 feet produces an opportunity with the wild pitch. He scampers home. That's your game-winning run. Nick Mingione, all smiles and high fives. Kentucky punches their ticket to the 1-0 game later on against the Mountaineers.
So here's a look at the batting order for Wake. The power surge continues. Back half of the season, they've really found their stroke. 3 home runs in the game yesterday for a team that's 26 in the country now in long balls.
And they will take on the right-hander Mason Holloway. 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, and change. Binghamton looking to bounce back and try and prolong their season.
First pitch misses low from Holloway. 3-3 with a 5.14 ERA. About midway through the season, Binghamton shuffled through its rotation, moved Holloway to the bullpen to the weekend. He has struck out 47 in 49 innings pitched.
And they are very, very high on him, an America East all-rookie team. And well, it started quickly for Wake's offense yesterday. Javar Williams, a big reason why, on base multiple times. And they will need a quick start here again this afternoon.
Holloway misses low and in. Williams reached in his first 2 trips to the plate, started with a double and ended up scoring a run in the first inning. Wake Forest built a 3-0 lead through 4, but then that went by the wayside. Holloway on the mound is a true freshman. He was a 4-year standout at Horseheads High School in New York. First team All-State pitcher for a state championship team as a senior. That's what he was doing last year at this time. Now he's pitching in an elimination game, and he's getting squeezed early by Will Presswood behind the plate.
I talked with some of the Binghamton personnel before the game. A lot of optimism about this young right-hander, and what a stage. You said it, high school senior last year. Welcome to elimination here on Saturday.
And Williams lifts it into right center field. Outfielders game 1 yesterday kind of had a hard time getting their bearings in this ballpark. There is not a single cloud in the sky, with temperatures pushing into the mid-70s throughout the day. And the wind, we saw it blowing every direction throughout the day yesterday.
Yeah, stay with it, no question about it. Arsenal here for Mason Holloway, as we mentioned, a bit more of a 3-pitch mix. And you know, he has the tendency to get some swing and miss. 47 strikeouts, 16 walks, a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And a lot of 4-seam fastballs. He'll use that curveball predominantly to the righties.
And here's Luke Costello. And that misses low to Costello, went 0 for 4 yesterday. Demon Deacons churned out 10 hits. Had 5 runs to show for it, but left a couple on in the first inning and a couple on in the 4th. And those were some of the differences in a 1-run loss. Now he gets a knee-high strike. 1-2.
Now, always with elimination games, too, fascinated by that team that scores first, trying to get the early advantage, put the extra pressure on the opponent.
Costello's trying to break out of a slump here. He's now 0 for 14 over a 5-game period. It's a Wake team that was middle of the pack in the ACC in batting average, just under 300, and the home runs didn't come until late in the season. That pushed him to top 4 in the league. 2-2, but Wake's identity primarily on the run prevention side, with the hardest throwing staff in the country. Although they're trying to change that with some more pop at the plate.
Already a concerted effort to try and get the heater. You see Coach Tom Walter there. Very stoic when we walked by him today, even keel. But you can tell that there's probably a little bit of angst, maybe a little bit of woulda, shoulda And yesterday, you mentioned it, man, the opportunities with runners in scoring position early. They had a chance for a knockout blow. And we're not able to deliver that. That's a man that, you look at the career wins, 963, second amongst active ACC head coaches.
He'll be first once Elliott Avent season ends and the NC State coach retires. Second to George Greer. It's anonymous with Wake Forest baseball in that athletic department as Costello fouls one off.
He's had a lot of success, of course, a lot made about the pitching lab there in Winston-Salem and the cutting edge technology that's allowed Wake to really be one of the preeminent pitching development programs in the entire country.
17th season as the head man in Winston-Salem. To third, backhanded pickup. Henning, one hopper, and the tag didn't get there. Stephen Krause wants an early challenge. Great reaction by the Binghamton first baseman. We'll see if he was able to get over there. Ramon Armandariz is the first base umpire.
Yeah, Tim Sinicki wasting no time right here. Look at the athleticism. Great identity of coming off the base.
Yep.
Oh, that's a clear tag. No question. This shouldn't take long. Well done. And again, young players at home, you're taught, as always, make sure that you get the ball first, and then understanding how long of a throw that was. Yeah, Henning didn't use the carpet. An airmail yesterday. Dude's got a hose, I'll tell you that. He's got a cannon, he'll show it off. And he unloaded right there, but great athleticism from Krause to apply the tag. And you can kind of clearly tell from this shot right here, contact on the upper thigh, and his foot clearly not on the base.
By the way, we're going with the double base today is orange.
Saw that yesterday, too.
Yeah, it was different. We had orange and green, two different games, two different colors. We stopped by and chatted with the grounds crew and said, please explain why we're going to different colored bases. And the kids kind of shrugged their shoulders and said, we're just doing what the teams tell us. The teams get to choose which one they want, either orange or green.
So, okay, here's the superstitious part of me. Why would you want orange over green? You play with green for most of the year.
That's what I thought. I'll mix it up, I guess. All right. They've been on the phone. Here's the call.
Calls out. Binghamton retains their challenge. They have 2 remaining.
Ryan DeBrouwer on the mic. That was a long at bat for Luke Costello. And with 2 down, Cade Lewis comes to the plate.
That's a young man, and Cade Lewis, we had a chance to visit with him on Thursday. Some great adjustments. The transfer from Butler in 2024 is a Big East Freshman of the Year. Has really started to develop a bit more of the slug. It was something that eluded him earlier this season, but as you kind of said, the overarching point of the entirety of the Wake offense slumbered early. They have awoken in a big way here in the second half.
Left side, Stelrek back, Kent coming in. And Zach Kent takes care of it. 1-2-3 frame to get us started at high noon in Morgantown. Binghamton coming to the plate in the bottom of the first. The NCAA Baseball Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by DQ, Happy Tastes Good. And Liberty Mutual Insurance, only pay for what you need. Tom Hart alongside Jensen Lewis, our fantastic crew here in Morgantown, where it's Chamber of Commerce weather, and we hope that continues all weekend. We'll play the second game today at 5 o'clock on the winner's side between the home team Mountaineers and Kentucky. What a scene after the game last night when they sang Country Roads on our way out of the ballpark. Binghamton went 4 for 32 against West Virginia, struck out 13 times, just 1 run on 4 hits. Here's a look at the batting order, and they have a true leadoff man in Braylon Gonzalez.
They certainly do, and up against the right-hander Cam Bagwell. I would say he's a softer tossing righty considering where the velocity is for the Wake staff. He's 90 to 94, probably sitting at 92 mile-an-hour range. 13 starts this year. Last time out against Duke, just 2 earned runs allowed and 5 1/3. It's primarily a 4-pitch mix: fastball, cutter, curve, and change. And again, tasked with a little bit more pressure here. Wake trying to find their way through and limit this Binghamton offense to survive and continue in this regional.
Head coach Tim Sinicki coaching at third. He's the longest tenured coach in Division I baseball. And here's Gonzalez to lead things off. And first pitch from Bagwell is in for a strike. The reason you mentioned him, labeled him a soft tosser, this is the hardest throwing staff in the country. And Gonzalez with a .275 average and 4 home runs, second in the America East in walks, one of the best in the country. And he rolls one over Blake Schaff. And this is what makes Bagwell good. You go back to his start against Pitt a couple of weeks ago. He threw 6 innings, only allowed 1 run. In those 18 outs, 11 of them came via the ground ball, and they turned 2 double plays behind.
You watched our program last night, seeing West Virginia send out Ace A, B, however you qualify it, from Steve Saban. Sinker ball guy, a little high 80s, low 90s. A lot of ground balls. Expect a similar refrain here from Bagwell.
Sean Sweeney swings at the first and sends it foul. Sophomore from Elmont, New York. First team All-America East. And he's still not 100%. Injured his hamstring in the championship game, trying to run out a ground ball. So he was about 50-50 from a health perspective coming into this one. But when we met on Thursday with Tim Sinicki, said, truthfully, it would be 50-50, but he's from Strong Island. So just with that attitude, we're going to bump it to 60-40. In for a strike, 1 and 2.
Yeah, you watched him run the base pass yesterday. You could tell there's a little gingerness to it, but gutting it out, knowing that, you don't take these postseason chances for granted, albeit Binghamton now in the regionals 3 of the last 5 years.
They went 2-Q in Athens, Georgia last year, and same thing in Palo Alto a couple of years prior. Sweeney strikes out. They throw down to finish it, and there's 2 down with Matt Bolton coming up. So one thing to keep in mind for this Binghamton crew led by Tim Sinicki is that they're facing the hardest throwing team in the country from a pitching standpoint, and they haven't seen much velocity.
Amazing.
A number of these guys in the starting lineup haven't seen a fastball over 94 all season.
Except against their ace in inter-squad and Connor Griffin, who we saw yesterday. That's about as close as they've come. And it is a difference maker, right? When you can catch up to velocity, you supply a bit more power. Trying to put balls in play. Wake, one of the best at limiting. Second most strikeouts there in the nation.
And leading the country in Ks per 9 at 12.2, and 5th in the country in whip. And now Bolton, best hitter on this Bearcats team, MVP of the America East tournament. And he slices this one foul. He's a good example. He's got an OPS over 1,000, the only hitter on the team that does. The sophomore from Levittown, until today, hasn't faced this season in game action a single fastball of 94 plus.
One of 6 sophomore starters on this Binghamton team. They were pretty veteran laden last year, Tom, and getting into that Athens regional. Bolton, one of those big leaders to bring them back with some regional experience.
Ground ball, just as Bagwell ordered, and a 1-2-3 frame to match what happened in the top of the first. A 12-pitch inning for Cam Bagwell. Nothing doing here early on, so you can get the bats going first. Bunch of goose eggs to get things started as we move to the second inning. Get complete coverage of everything happening in the regionals. Head to ncaa.com for the latest news, expert insight, and analysis. Late night in Lincoln, Nebraska last night.
My goodness.
They didn't end until 1:30 in the morning.
A couple of places playing into the wee hours for sure, and some early starts already today. A couple of 9 a.m. games having to finish up some suspended efforts from yesterday.
Dalton Wentz fouls off the first. Oklahoma leads Citadel, bottom of the 7th, 6-3. That's in Atlanta, where they were disrupted due to weather yesterday at Georgia Tech's campus. And in Auburn, UCF is already in the top of the 9th, leading NC State 9-3. The Athens Regional got disrupted by weather as well. Dalton Wentz, sophomore from Madison Heights, Virginia, former Virginia High School Gatorade Player of the Year.
Impressive young man when we visited with him on Thursday too. As you mentioned, just a young middle of the order bat with a lot of thump here. He was the guy that kind of alluded to us talking about how this offense struggled in the power department. Brought them together and said, boys, we're better than this. How about leading by example yesterday, Tom? Loud noises going the opposite way. And that was a massive home run at that point in the game, bringing Wake Forest back within it. And a kaboom over in the celebratory Wake Forest side. But he said it. You know, he, Cade Lewis, we visited and they said, guys, it's in there. And just kind of keep with it, keep improving. And you talked about the proliferation of home runs here in the second half, and namely the last 3 to 4 weeks.
His dad Lenny played at Virginia Tech and then in pro ball for a few seasons in the early 90s. Nolan just foul and faced Chipper Jones in the minors, and that was the model for the Dalton Wentz swing and forcing him to switch hit. He said, I really wasn't a fan of it for a while and then picked it up once high school got going. He was begging for wiffle balls as a 2-year-old and hitting him on the roof. And he laces one into right center field. Gonzalez won't get there. It'll hop against the fence and headed into second is Dalton Wentz with the game's first hit.
Well, very similar to what they did yesterday, out early, taking advantage of some mistakes by Jackson Jalkin. Well, this one, Dalton Wentz getting the better of Mason Holloway, just really being able to extend the arms. Solid extra base hit. Leadoff man aboard in scoring position for the Demon Deacons here in the second inning.
All right.
I don't have that move.
What move do you have?
Well, we stay within the ropes.
Here's Matt Conti. 11 home runs, 48 driven in for Conti. He hit a 2-run home run yesterday. But for Wake Forest, it was the failure to contain the Kentucky run game, which cost them the contest in the 9th inning when Tarnish stole second on Conti, and then he stole third, really on the third baseman Dalton Wentz, who was playing deep and didn't go to cover the bag. And he came home on a wild pitch thrown by Will Ray. And this one gets to the backstop, which will allow Wentz to advance to third.
Tommy Popoff just drops this one, doesn't square it up. You talk about, and knowing the scouting report too, I think that's the thing that befuddles me the most, Tom, about that 9th inning. You know that Jace Tarnish, one of the great stolen base threats, not only in the SEC, but in the country, and you don't even look him back from second to third?
Yeah, it was a total failure. It wasn't just on Conti. Catcher, pitcher, third baseman, everybody to blame.
Well, yesterday, and just kind of illustrating it for people that didn't see it, and the entire left side of the infield, it's like they're asleep at the wheel, and not even a look back from the pitcher. Well, that 90 feet ends up being the difference maker. Wild pitch. Kentucky scores the winning run there, and they make it stand up.
And by the way, that was a pass ball charged to Popoff, his 7th of the season. Devil's in the details in the postseason.
It always is. And speaking of, in an elimination game, you know, Binghamton has been really solid in the first 3 innings. They have a plus 36 run differential and have been really good about being ahead early. A key spot here for Wake to try and get another early lead.
To short. And they'll take, whoa, they don't get the. Stelreck's throw is wide. That's his 9th error of the season. And Wake Forest gets its first run across on a ground ball.
Another unforced error. No need to have plenty of time. This ball's hit plenty hard enough. And he's got it. I mean, it's just an airmail. Fundamentally unsound, unfortunate error that you should have at least gotten the out there. But now Wake Forest in business with another man aboard.
So here's Boston Torres. And a first pitch strike from Mason Holloway. Torres Jr. from Lynchburg, Virginia. Started his college career at Division II Cedarville University. He was second team all GMAC for Cedarville. That's your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah.
What's the mascot for Cedarville?
Well, man, you're putting me on the spot. I'm going to draw a blank on that one. But the Great Midwest producing yet another outstanding young product there.
Fantastic pivot.
Try and box me out. Go over the top.
Well, he was in the portal after playing at VMI, where he had more walks than strikeouts and was second team all SoCon. And Dalton Wentz, who played against him in high school, pitched him to the coaching staff, said, we got to get this guy on our roster.
So I phoned a friend. Truck says it's the Indians of Cedarville.
Cedarville Indians, all right.
See if anyone fact checks us on that.
Confirmed.
Outstanding. Love going 1-for-1 early.
Torres missed some time in the fall due to appendicitis. This is coming off of good year last year at VMI, and he goes down looking. The 93-mile-an-hour fastball, first K for Mason Holloway.
Big fastball right there. Really well done, and maybe his best here of the early portion of the afternoon. Again, young freshman put into a really tough spot. Start of his career in his young career thus far, but freezes the left-handed hitter and kind of gets some momentum back and some confidence on his side, out number 1.
And now Andrew Costello. And nice block by Popoff. Costello, freshman from Erie, Pennsylvania, at Erie Cathedral Prep. He was an early enrollee as a freshman, left high school early. Committed Thanksgiving of 22 before he'd ever had a varsity at bat. In for a strike, and Costello really turned it up. He's gotten his May flowers, his average over 300 in May after hitting 205 in April.
Oh, how about the bomb that he hit yesterday? 1 of 3, and there are some words exchanged between both the Wake Forest and the Kentucky dugout after a little philanthropy, if you will. People letting each other know what they thought. Nice walk by Pop-Up. Here it is from yesterday. I mean, this is halfway up the scoreboard, or excuse me, over onto the road. And what was remarkable, you see Hudson Brown, the first baseman for Kentucky, he not only pointed at him, but he's following him the whole way around. The benches were getting a little chippy yesterday, but the big swing from Connie was huge.
Off of third, Henning. Oh, and another one thrown away by Binghamton. Binghamton came into this game through the season with the highest fielding percentage in the America East and leading the America East in double plays, and they're just launching it all over the infield right now.
Yeah, and Tim Sinicki already out to the mound to try and reel in this group. Very uncharacteristic, as you said, and here it is. It's Henning again. He's got time. Set his feet. This is just a weird sequence here early on from some of the more reliable young guys here. Remember, it's 6 sophomore starters for this Bearcats group.
It would almost be more understandable if this was game 1,
sure,
where they showed some nerves and were throwing.
Yeah.
You got one under your belt. You should be ready to go, and a noon start is not too wild for this team. And remember, Henning threw one wide in the first inning, and Krause bailed him out of an error that one. So it's 3 balls on the infield that have been thrown away over at first. 2 errors so far.
Problem there is now you're adding pitches to Mason Holloway's docket, and we know how precious pitching is coming out of the eliminating bracket too.
This is Blake Schaff. He transferred in from Georgetown, 2 seasons with the Hoyas. Last year hit .344, had an OPS of .968 for the junior from Oakland, California. And his fastball velocity is right in his wheelhouse. So he bunts one foul. Against fastball velocity similar to what Holloway has, Schaff has an OPS of 1371.
Which begs the question, why are we trying to lay one down, brother?
Fair.
Let it eat.
His struggles have come against off-speed stuff. He's hitting .091 against changeups, and he laces this into right field. RBI single for Blake Schaff.
Well, that's more like it. Left-handers off of Holloway this year, hitting .317. That's going to go up after that swing cashes in another Demon Deacons run. Just elevated off speed, big part of the plate, middle away. You tee it up, and he's going to take care of it. Schaff counts another, now 2-0 Wake Forest.
J.D. Stein had a rough day at the plate yesterday for Wake Forest, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. And he lined out to left field, the only time he put it in play to end the game. Freshman from Carmel, Indiana.
Originally was going to be a Louisville Cardinal, if I believe, from where he was.
Yeah, he was the #1 shortstop in Indiana. This bunt spins foul.
Almost like Tom Walter is, okay, left side of the infield, let's see what you can do. If we're going to make you field your position, we'll do it a couple of different ways. Yeah, nice young prospect right here.
And he's replacing a first-round pick at shortstop last year.
How about that? No pressure, kid.
J.D. Stein grew up hitting apples in his grandparents' backyard. See if he can get one from Mason Holloway. What do you think he's looking for? A Honeycrisp here? Red Delicious catches the edge.
Personally, a Gala apple guy.
Oh, really?
I'll mix in a Honey Crisp, though, depending on the region.
Thought we were friends. There's nothing better than a Honey Crisp. 2 aboard for Stein, the 9-hole hitter. Holloway put the side down in order to start the game, and then undone by the miscues on the infield. It's just the second game since April 3rd that Binghamton has committed multiple errors.
And now you're adding, this is pitch number 47 coming for Mason Holloway. Already a pressure situation coming into this start for the young freshman. That has ratcheted up already with 2 across.
Two and 2 to J.D. Stein. His dad, Mike, played college baseball at Northwestern and at Carmel High School, just like him. Out of play.
And if you're Wake Forest, too, you do not want Binghamton hanging around. Crooked numbers early, trying to do everything you can, not only from a pitching resource saving aspect, knowing you've got to come through the losers bracket, but also just trying to get yourself into a better frame of mind after yesterday.
Stein caught looking. He Ks for the 4th time this weekend. And there's 2 down.
Got to tell you, there's a little life, there's a little extra giddy up here from Mason Holloway. It's a nice live arm. I kind of see it explode there at the end. Yeah, the velo says 92, but I'm going to tell you that the perceived velocity, just kind of watching some of the takes from these Wake Forest hitters, it has got a little ride to it at the end.
Back to the top of the order, Javar Williams. Low and into Williams, who's got 9 home runs and 39 driven in. He flew out to center field his first time up. His struggles this season have come against the breaking ball, hitting under 200. It's anything with Ben, but high velocity fastballs. He's got an OPS of 1267 and slugging 714.
Tom Walter saying it's a much more mature at bat now. Great development throughout the year. Has really blossomed in this leadoff spot.
He's the motor for this Demon Deacons team, and the fastball misses inside 3-0. 3rd team All ACC. And a good performance in the postseason last year with a pair of home runs. Down Broadway, taking a 3-0.
A little strike and a ground ball action if you're Mason Holloway. Now 53 pitches. I mean, it has been an arduous workload here thus far. Not what you're looking for. 21 strikes against 15 balls, but it's 36 already this inning.
Shallow right. Gonzalez racing in, loses the hat, finds the ball. And that will close the Wake Forest half of the second. Deacons get a pair across on 2 hits and 2 Binghamton errors. And it's a 2-0 Wake Forest lead. Thanks to Braylon Gonzalez for covering some real estate here.
How about a run there? Tip of the cap. No need for a cap there. Good slide. Binghamton back to the bat rack here in the second.
Kendrick Family Ballpark, Morgantown, West Virginia. Day number 2 of this Morgantown Regional. Tom Hart, Jensen Lewis, our fantastic crew with you. We got a person in a lawn chair on the hill.
Now, for people that don't know how this works in Morgantown, there is as steep a grade of that hill outside of this stadium. I don't advocate for sitting on the slope, but that is the perfect flat ground right there. And
yeah,
I guess that's a club level
yeah,
outside.
That would be club level. Right. You just have to bring your own velvet ropes.
A little cooler. Oh, you love that setup there. They're all watching squeeze play right now on their phones.
Probably so. True tailgating. Swing and a miss for Tommy Popoff. Binghamton catchers hitting .284. Squeeze play going all day and all night long.
Chris Budden keeping the boys, Mike Rooney, Chris Burke, in line here early today.
I think Chris is doing the night tonight. I think Schick's in there.
Did they flip-flop?
I think they
either
did.
way. Good to see everybody. Hi, how are you?
Popoff with a swing and a miss. Second K for Cam Bagwell.
Bagwell, and again, if you're Wake trying to get the early lead and also some length, Chris Lavonis going 5 innings yesterday, high pitch count, a good off speed for a swing and a miss. Bagwell not afraid to pile up the strikeouts, career high for both strikeouts with 10 and total pitches 107 when he twirled a gem in the series finale against Georgia Tech earlier this year.
Kent pops it up into shallow right down the line and off the leather of Cade Lewis.
We got some leather on it, and long way to go here, and not a lot of foul territory once you get about halfway into right field. That fence comes up really quickly, so he's trying to judge a distance, and he can kind of feel that fence coming up quickly, so heck of an effort there by Cade Lewis.
Oh, 1 pitch misses low. Zach Kent, senior from Wakefield, Mass. 7th toughest to strike out in the America East this year.
Cam Bagwell pretty good against right-handed hitting this year, 245 average against.
Two and two now. Kent played at Wagner for a couple of seasons. And he has closed hot, last 22 games hitting .365. Off the plate, Bagwell, perfect hot bare hand play.
Oh, play with it. I'll get it in one time. Pitchers are the best athletes. We do what we got to do to get it right.
You've already admitted you can't dance.
We got just a little bare hand. No time to go to the glove. Let me just take it. Beautiful. Love to see it. Like a cat.
So here's Steven Krause now with 2 down. And first pitch breaking ball misses, 1-0. Krause was 0 for 3 yesterday. Sophomore from Hilton, New York, reached on a walk. Binghamton had a couple of opportunities. In fact, they were down 5-1 in the middle innings, and they loaded the bases in the 5th, making Chance Cole work a little bit, but Cole got out of trouble with a strikeout, and they never threatened again. And a couple innings later, West Virginia would put together another 5-run frame, and that was all she wrote, and 10-1.
Yeah, it's been missed opportunities, ironically, for both these teams yesterday. Wake's offense had a chance to put away Kentucky a couple of times, couldn't do it. Tim Sinicki's club, chance to get back into it against Jansen Cole.
Lined up the middle, base hit for Krause, 2-out single.
How about this kid? had reached 32 straight games to start the season. This year he'll reach right here with 2 down. One of the first-year starters, 6 sophomores. Just remarkable when you look at Tim Stanicki, who's been there 34 years now, and he had told us, he goes, I did not expect to have a conversation with you guys on Thursday, just with the youth and the turnover from a veteran-laden club last year.
No, he was more worried at the outset when they stumbled early about making it to the America East tournament. And the concern was one of embarrassment because they hosted the America East tournament. He said, listen, only the top 6 teams make it. Nobody wants to miss the tournament when they're hosting. And he said, I'm fully aware of all the people on our staff that work the tournament. They don't want to be working a tournament that we're not involved in. Ends up, Stanicki's team pulled off the double. They won the regular season, and they won the tournament. Zach Anderson showed up in Binghamton from Temecula, California, after a couple other college stops, and he taps one out to the second baseman. A hit and 1 left. We're 2 innings into it, and it's a 2-0 Wake Forest lead.
Exclusively on ESPN, 40-plus NCAA championships. Confetti rains. Nets are cut. Joy erupts. Hardware is hoisted. History happens here on ESPN, home of NCAA championships.
Two Binghamton errors lead to a pair of unearned runs for Wake Forest as we move to the third. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Demon Deacons. Elimination game to start our second day in Morgantown, and that one onto the road. Luke Costello 0 for 1 at the ground out to third. He had a tremendous April, hit .362 in the month with 6 of his 17 home runs, top 5 in the ACC in long balls.
How would you feel about playing with your brother at the same school?
That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, Andrew, his brother here at Wake.
He's the DH, batting in the 7-hole today. Stelrek trying to straighten it out. That's true, 1 down.
Like that for Mason Holloway, too. A very long second inning, pitch count wise. Try and be efficient and get back with a quick one. It bears repeating why the eliminator portion of the bracket is so difficult to come out from. Tom, you look at teams that advance in the regional round, 93% of them winning their first game. And over 80% when you go 2-0. It's so difficult because of all the pitching you have to try and go through to get not only out of it, but defeating that 2-0 team twice.
0-1 to Cade Lewis, golf foul. We had one of the 10 3 seeds that got a win yesterday. The games that were completed yesterday, 3 seeds were upset-minded. They went 10-4.
Of course, 4 #1 seeds, including #1 overall UCLA, falling to St. Mary's. Why is that critical? Well, this bracket, Morgantown Regional matched up with the Los Angeles Regional.
And by the way, it wasn't, yes, UCLA was the headliner. We'd never had the #1 overall seed lose its opener. This one's launched into the corner. It'll get all the way to the fence as it rolls across the warning track. And Cade Lewis has his second double in as many days. But in addition to UCLA losing, also 2-seed Virginia Tech lost. They'll be on television this afternoon at 3 o'clock. One of those top 2 seeds will be eliminated from that region.
How about that? If you, at the beginning of this tournament, thinking of those top 2 seeds out west, not sure anyone had on their bingo card that that would transpire the way that he did. But why that's important here, we mentioned the missed opportunity from Wake Forest yesterday. Having the lead against Kentucky, they give it away with the bullpen, and then the base running blunder that they did not stop Jace Tarnish, who eventually scored the go-ahead run in the 9th. Now you look overall at the complexion of this regional. You see the Los Angeles region, St. Mary's and Cal Poly finding their way through. So we will have a 3 or 4 seed into the 2-0 game.
Interesting numbers in that Los Angeles regional. And this one's launched into right center. Bolton tried to think about laying out for him. It short hops him. Headed to second is Wentz, and Lewis is going to come around to score.
Now he's feeling good, and he was, when we visited with him before this regional got started, those 2 guys were the 2 position players that really were talking how much confidence this offense started to feel in the second half of the year. A little in between by Bolton right there. He wanted to lay out, but probably the smart decision not to. And Cade Lewis motoring around. Now 3-0 Deacons, back-to-back extra base hits to start the 3rd.
Second double of the game for Wentz as Matt Conti comes to the plate. He reached on an error last time, and he's aggressive and swinging at the first. Well, I wanted to finish up my thought on that Los Angeles regional. Not all seeds are made equally. UCLA, the overwhelming #1. Virginia Tech was thought to be a soft 2. However, St. Mary's is one of the toughest 4s and probably more like a 3 seed. Tommy Popoff took that foul ball off the leg. So it was a tougher ask for UCLA in its opener than you might assume the 1 seed would get from a quality of a 4-seed opponent.
Only 6 defeats all year, and that was one of the top thoughts or narratives coming in. What kind of resistance had UCLA faced all year? Would they get tripped up knowing you go 51-6, okay, you're the rightful wire-to-wire #1. We will see some history later on today as top 2 seeds will do battle. One of them will be going home.
One of our 3 1-versus-2 elimination games in the tournament today. Matt Conti falls behind 0-2. That ruled that a single for Wentz and an error charge to Bolton, just his 2nd error of the season, but it's the 3rd today for Binghamton. Conti dispatched. 3rd K for Mason Holloway.
Really good breaking ball from Holloway. Again, the freshman having to dig a little bit deep here in the early frames, but that one executed perfectly, disappearing right under the barrel. Critical second out to try and limit further damage.
There's Boston Torres, 0 for 1 of the strikeout. Torres is trying to get it going. Just 1 for his last 8. Couple of strikeouts. But he had a really good May overall, hitting .350. 0-2.
Best fastball of the day there from Holloway. And pitch number 70, and Tim Sinicki, knowing that they have a thin bullpen anyway entering this regional. You wonder how much you can extend the young freshman. You got to keep this deficit as small as possible. I know 3-0 doesn't feel that big, but the way that Wake has swung the bats here recently, you can't afford to fall behind much farther than this.
Matt Salento is the third base coach for Wake Forest. He pulls Torres to the side. There's Sinicki. What a beautiful facility Binghamton has now. Show you the postcards from the upstate a little bit later, but it is amazing, especially for any level of college baseball. I was going to handicap it. No need to do that.
$60 million from an anonymous donor. that is Christmas and then some.
As long as there's a name on the check. Stelrek takes care of it. We'll give you a tour of the fantastic facility in the new stadium in Binghamton after this. Well, $60 million can build you a pretty fantastic ballpark in an entire complex, and that's what we've seen in Binghamton. This is next level. I heard people talking about this facility, and to be honest, I kind of thought to myself before I saw the pictures, well, yeah, sure, but how would it match up, say, in the SEC? This would be right there with them, especially the indoor. It allows these guys to take ground balls. It's a cut-off outfield as you normally have with an indoor facility like this. But it is a huge advantage.
End of December in 2024, they christened that 35,000 square foot indoor field house. That the latest edition of what the complex is overall. A 38,000 square foot two-story team clubhouse, 12,000 square foot turf practice area with the batting and pitching tunnels, 11,000 square foot two-story press box complete with VIP suites, fan amenities. We are still, it was a $60 million anonymous alumnus gift.
Thank you.
We have tried to narrow it down from some of the notable alumni.
Stelrek with a seeing eye single.
We don't know if it is a noted potato farmer.
Is there money in the potato stand?
Tony Kornheiser is just cornering the potato market.
That's what we understand.
That is a really generous check that he wrote without putting his name on it.
Leadoff man on, and Tim Henning coming up. The same architecture firm that designed the Braves spring training complex was involved in that one. We were talking with Sinicki about it yesterday, the advantage it provides. Here's Costello in right field, and Schaff going back. Costello calls him off, and he said, listen, we were getting good players before. Now we are getting more interest and maybe a few higher level guys, but we've always been pretty good recruiting. Here's some of Binghamton's ESPN connections. Yeah, Buster Olney's trying to teach Mr. Tony how to grow potatoes.
Hey, Ravi's got the cheese. I just didn't know if it was one. Maybe they got.
Think he cut the check?
No, maybe they got together.
Could be. You never know.
Well, we know
Here's
that
Braylon Gonzalez. Sinicki, though, did share with us. He said, when I realized that we had a true advantage, one of our first times in the indoor, and we're having an inter squad, and our first baseman came off the bag, backhanded one, went to second for one. The pitcher covered the bag, and I turned to my assistant and I said, we just turned a 3-6-1 double play in the middle of the winter. That has never happened before here at Binghamton.
And if I am a prospective recruit, at this day and age, seeing that facility in that part of the country, you better believe knowing that I can get in 365 a year and get better every single day.
Gonzalez with a tapper off the end of the glove and tried the glove flip, and with that, Cam Bagwell flushes the mouse. It's the first error charge to Wake Forest today.
I do not know what is going on in this infield, but it's now both sides. Again, you're taught to go down. If you're going to field it this way, both hands if you can get it. I see why he's trying to reach with a little bit of the short hop. But Cade Lewis, highly athletic play to keep that one from potentially going into right field.
2 on with 1 out for Sean Sweeney, the second baseman. E1 charged to Bagwell. And a first pitch strike into Sweeney.
Well, Binghamton 2 for 10 right now, 2 strikeouts, but 0 for with runners on base at this point.
Foul tip by Sweeney. Tom Hart with Jensen Lewis. Beautiful day at the ballpark. First of 2 today. We'll have Kentucky and West Virginia in the winner's bracket tonight. And the winner of that one in the catbird seat to go to 2-0. Schaff goes to second for 1. On to first in a 4-6-3 twin killing turn by Wake Forest. Well, that'll make up for the error. And a missed opportunity for the Bearcats, who leave a runner aboard. Third of the way through this one. Finally seeing some good glove work. 3-0 Demon Deacons. Tom Hart with Jensen Lewis, happy to be joined by Tim Sinicki, head coach for Binghamton. You guys really went on a tear like the last 22 games of this season. You wrapped up the regular season title. You won the tournament. What was the pivot for the program at that time?
You know, just keep getting after it. You know, we challenge ourselves pretty good with an early season schedule. Try not to worry too much about wins and losses. Just try to prepare for the America East, you know, regular season, and that's when things kind of clicked for us. You know, we got off to a slow start, 1-3 in the conference. Then after that, we just kind of found our way and had played good baseball, you know, for the rest of the season, kind of up until yesterday and today. So we got to get that thing back in order right now if we want to get back in this ball game and compete.
Yeah, Coach, a lot of young pups on your roster, and you got another young one currently on the mound. What a start right out of your senior year last year as a freshman. What have you liked out of Mason so far this afternoon?
Well, he's been unfazed by the environment and by the magnitude of the ball game. He's got great composure, and that's one of the things I like most about him. And he's got good stuff, too, so he's doing a good job throwing the baseball right now. I think he's, you know, obviously been in some trouble, but he's worked his way out of it as well, and I hope I don't get hit by this fly ball. But we're good.
You're clear.
All right, we're good. That would be on probably Sports Center tonight if I did. But no, he's had a really good freshman year for us, and it evolved from coming out of the bullpen to one of our starters, and here he is pitching game 2 of an NCAA regional.
Tim, thanks so much for the time. We'll let you
Thanks,
get back to
guys.
work.
Always a pleasure. Have a good rest of the day.
You bet.
Thank
Tim
you.
Sinicki, 7-time America East Coach of the Year. They shuffled a number of guys in the rotation back to the bullpen and vice versa about midway through the season. And he said, listen, we called the starters in that weren't getting it done, and they knew they weren't getting the job done. So we had a bye week, and it worked out pretty well that we were able to move everybody around without games on a weekend, because those guys were underperforming, and so they were able to turn it around, and even the guys who were moved from the rotation to the pen have had some good moments now as relievers.
Well, how about not only those decisions to switch it up, just let him do 11 consecutive conference wins to finish it out.
Holloway ended up making 6 starts in conference play. He gets a K of Andrew Costello, his 4th of the game, to start this 4th inning.
And just all that roster shuffling with this younger roster. Get a look here first at the strikeout. Good off speed, good changeup right there. Arm speed, outstanding execution, disappearing underneath the barrel. But I think the thing I take away most of watching this group, you know, it's 3 of the last 5 years into the regional round, 7th time they've done it overall in program history. I don't care what team, what conference you're in, you win the regular season title and the conference title. That's saying a lot about not only the continuity of the program, but the effectiveness as well.
Perfect 3-0 run through the America East tournament as the 1 seed. Lace to left field, and Blake Schaff uses the backside for his 2nd hit of the game.
Now 5 hits total here for Wake Forest. And it's been a really good opposite field approach from the left-handers so far. If you haven't tuned in yet here to Morgantown, one of the big keys we were told about how the ball plays, you'll see a lot of left-handed bats from all these teams trying to go the opposite way because the wind kind of funnels everything into the gap. We saw some wind-aided home runs yesterday too.
Sure did. Breaking ball pulled foul by J.D. Stein. Put a bow on Binghamton's season. They bettered the 2017 team that had a school record 30 wins and 17 conference wins, with most since the 2016 team. They've been a regular in the postseason out of the America East. They've got some big wins in their program history. Last year, they went to Columbia, Missouri, knocked off the SEC Tigers twice in a 3-game series, including a 13-inning victory. And a handful of wins against a ranked Virginia Tech team back in the 17 season. Inside.
And just invaluable experience for as young as these guys are. You would think with 6 sophomore starters, you get that group back. Knowing what they've faced here in Morgantown thus far. A very bright future for the Bearcats.
Longest tenured coach at one school among Division I coaches. And an inductee into the Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame. Played up there at Johnson City High School, went to Western Carolina where he played for the legendary Jack Leggett before coming back home. His first job was as a sports writer and editor before he decided he was tired of the ink stains and wanted grass stains and dipped his toe into coaching.
Fired himself live on air last year in the Athens Regional as the pitching coach. Gave up the pitch calling duties this year.
Hey, that'll happen to a lot of coaches when they're facing Georgia in Athens. Lead the nation in home runs this year after setting a school record for long balls last year.
Yeah, Bulldogs were feeding the trees plenty in the regional last year, but he alluded to the fact of over those 3+ decades he's been here, just the alums that have come through the program, text chains, just reaching out, just saying how much it's meant to them.
Runner goes, throw down a second from Popoff is not in time, and Sean Sweeney wants him to challenge it.
Oh,
I don't think they will.
Well, excellent release from Popoff. The footwork was phenomenal and an extremely accurate throw down to Sweeney at second base. Nick of time that Schaff found his way home, and now another runner in scoring position for Wake.
3-2 to Stein, and he sends it into center field. Schaff around third, and they'll hold him up. First hit for Stein, who works throughout his youth with the White Sox scouting director Mike Shirley, who'll be pulling the trigger on the first overall pick in this year's Major League Draft.
taking advantage of a mistake up out over the plate. Pitch count now really starting to escalate for Mason Holloway. Pitch number 84 coming for the young freshman. Just a bit of stirring as some of the Bearcat relievers just standing up, starting to move around a little bit, but another run scoring opportunity for the Demon Deacons.
Hayden Tarsi is starting to get loose. Squeeze, and the play at the plate's too late. No play at first. And Javar Williams surprises everybody by getting a run home with the bunt.
Well, an advantageous opportunity. Saw that the infield was back a little bit and take advantage of the carpet. Pulls it to the right side, beautifully executed. No chance to get Schaff speeding down the line from third. Beautiful job and executed well in the running game. Got to make sure you see it down. And it was do or die for Holloway, but the fourth run across for Wake.
Here's Costello again. He's 0 for 2, and that one lost by Popoff, and both runners advance. Stein to third and Williams to second.
This has got to be extremely frustrating for Tim Sinicki. Left side of the infield's had their issues. Now, and looking like a wild pitch or a pass ball that Popoff could not get to, and second and third already the 9th at bat for Wake's offense with runners in scoring position, and we're just in the 4th.
Couple of groundouts for Costello. In on the hands.
Well, this was a similar refrain from yesterday. It was 3-0 lead early for Wake. Had a chance to land a knockout punch against Jackson Jelkin in Kentucky. Not able to get that over the hump. Allowed Wildcats to stick around.
Costello was second in league play in RBIs in the ACC, and he gets his first hit in 5 games with an RBI single.
Well, another elevated pitch, big part of the zone, and that might do it this afternoon for the young right-handed freshman. You can tell it middle, and Luke Costello is going to eat that up all day. Another run home, 5-0 Demon Deacons.
So the Bearcats will go to the bullpen. 4 straight singles against Mason Holloway. And Hayden Tarsia will be the new pitcher for Binghamton here in the 4th. It's 3 1/3 for the starter Holloway. He leaves trailing by Hayden Tarsi is a new pitcher for Binghamton after Mason Holloway's day came to an early end. Tarsia was their Friday night guy, moved to the bullpen in April from the 1 spot. And he misses with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball to get things started. Junior from Fishkill, New York, 21-year-old, 6'2", 195, 2-2 with an ERA north of 10. It's been a rough season for him.
Yeah, one of 3 captains on this Bearcat team, and 3-pitch mix.
And this one belted to right field. It is off the top of the fence. That'll get at least 1 run home. Here comes the second. The relay never shows up. It's a 2-run double for Cade Lewis, his second 2-bagger of the game.
And a huge haymaker landed by this Wake Forest offense. Unable to do it yesterday afternoon, but an elevated pitch as Lewis rudely greets Tarsia, a matter of maybe a foot. Wow, that close to being a round tripper. But 4 runs here now in the 4th, make it 7 total. And the big hits with runners in scoring position Wake couldn't get yesterday, they have converted here so far this afternoon.
So Dalton Wentz is 2 for 2 today. And he's having a fantastic postseason. After a 3-hit game and a home run yesterday, Wentz is used to playing in this ballpark. He played for the Collegiate League Black Bears here his first year out of high school. Got about 20 games in at this ballpark, he was telling us. Loved his time here in Morgantown playing for David Carpenter, former West Virginia pitcher. Waves at the off speed and Wentz goes down.
Yeah, good changeup. One of the out pitches here. And lefties who have really had a lot of success against Hayden Tarsia this year, at 365 average. But this one, some free air conditioning as that changeup just tails out of the zone. Big second out here for Binghamton.
Eighth batter of the frame is the catcher, Matt Conti. And Conti unloads deep into the corner. It's a high fence down there, and it stays in play. Eludes Kent on the long carom. It's about a 16-foot wall in the left field corner that tapers down to 8. Anywhere else in this ballpark, and that one would have been gone.
Yeah, that one is a, I tell you, just the tapering right there is all of the difference between another extra base hit and a home run. Little topspin ball, but it was hit with authority. And the route is on here as Wake has plated 5 now in this top of the 4th inning.
Wake will bat around. This is Boston Torres. He's looking for his first hit of the game. They are wasting no time, and they've been aggressive early in the at-bat against Hayden Tarsia. Wake has 9 hits today. 4 of them are doubles.
And 6 total with runners in scoring position.
Into center, Bolton. And that will close the 4th inning. Wake Forest has an 8-run advantage. We'll visit with their head coach, Tom Walter, 17th season as a head man for the Demon Deacons. 8-0 lead for Wake Forest. Tom Hart with Jensen Lewis happened to be joined by Tom Walter down in the Wake dugout. Coach, I wanted to ask you about your recruiting and your development. It's turned into 9 big leaguers over the last 5 years, and in 24, you're the second team in history to have 3 top 10 picks. What is in the water in Winston-Salem that allows you guys to develop so many pros?
Well, great players come to Wake Forest. That starts there. You know, it's not all development. You got to have good clay to work with, and we certainly have been fortunate that way. And great assistant coaches and staff. You know, we've got Kristen Nicholson, the biomechanist in the lab, Eric Neeson, Ezra Bai in our lab, Bill Salento on the hitting side. So what people don't realize, we've had as many first-rounders, more first-rounders positionally than we have on the mound. We get a lot of talk about our pitching lab, but we've done a good job on the positional side, too.
Positional side has been great today. At a fabulous job with runners in scoring position. How about Cam Bagwell on the mound? You grow him great on the mound there, too. What have you liked from your righty?
Yeah, throwing a ton of strikes, limiting the free 90s, you know, the 1 free 90 on the PFP. But other than that, you know, no walks so far, so that's always a good sign.
Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Tom Walter in his 17th season, second behind George Greer in all-time wins at Wake Forest, as Matt Bolton leads off the 4th. And now it's a question of efficiency as Lewis takes it to the bag. And the question will be, how many innings can Bagwell give them? Because when you're playing on the elimination side, you're going to have to save some pitching.
This is about as ideal as it gets. 40 pitches through 3 1/3, and just continuing to collect outs on weak contact. And still, it's a Wake program that's just one of 13 schools to make the NCAA tournament in each of the last 5 seasons. You talk about where Coach Walter mentions the first rounders from the position player side. Of course, we all know Nick Kurtz, Rookie of the Year for the Athletics last year. Chase Burns, power righty, now ascending to the top of the Reds rotation.
Yeah, Kurtz went 4th overall in 24. He already has an A's record 48 game on base streak that ended Wednesday, tied with Mark McGuire. That was an incredible draft. 9 of the top 10 picks in 24 were college picks. The lone exception, superstar rookie Connor Griffin, already in the big leagues.
20-year-old Connor Griffin. Imagine what happens when he turns 21. Dude's already shown the penchant. It was hysterical watching those Pirates. Like, all he had to do was turn from 19 to 20 to get the grown man strike to get his first big league homer. But Nick Kurtz, you think about what the pedigree of the position players that have come through this Wake program. That man right there at the center of it, and over a decade and a half of making it one of the most consistent schools in the ACC and a perennial power nationwide.
Mentioned the 3 top 10 picks in 24. Rice had 3 pitchers taken in the top 10 during the Wayne Graham era. Look at the talent of the 24 draft that has already arrived in the big leagues, and Charlie Condon knocking on the door at AAA for the Rockies.
Obviously what Hagen Smith is doing upwards in the Chicago White Sox system. Not a matter of if, matter of when, but you go to Winston-Salem, you're going to be in good hands. And I mean, just overall, Travis Bazzana getting his major league debut a handful of weeks ago with the Cleveland Guardians. Chase Burns right now on pace to be an all-star. Guess what? Nick Kurtz is going to be there too. What a thrill it would be to see those two match up in Philadelphia in the Midsummer Classic.
And don't forget about the 7th overall pick, J.J. Weatherholt, now with the Cardinals, played here at West Virginia and in this ballpark.
It bears repeating that the power stuff, like, hey, I'll just speak from experience. Topped at 94 when I was at Vanderbilt, I would be a soft tosser.
You would.
In the Wake program. They'd be like, hey,
you'd be way down the list.
Can we get a running start to get you to the upper 90s? Let's go.
Kent watches a fastball miss up. The walk issued to Popoff as the first walk allowed by Bagwell in this one.
I think overall, though, when you get swing and miss the way that Wake does, especially in this portion now of where they are in the regional, you're trying to limit the amount of balls in play. You're trying to collect quick outs. They've got the pitching to be able to prolong their opportunities here in Morgantown.
Winner of this one gets the loser of tonight's game between Kentucky and West Virginia in a noon start tomorrow. Then they'd have to win again and force a Game 7 Monday night. Onto the berm. See what Kent's got from a two-strike approach, one of the toughest to K in the America East this year. Into left, Torres. 2 down.
Well, mentioned about the consistency of the Wake program getting to the postseason. And you look at the last 5 seasons, here are your teams that have punched their tickets to the regionals. And, of course, littered with a lot of SEC, ACC, handful of Big Ten. What a marathon in East Carolina and Tennessee had at Chapel Hill yesterday. 14 innings. Cliff Godwin's crew outlasts the Vols. Remarkable start to the Chapel Hill Regional.
Well, Tennessee playing VCU right now, trying to stay alive. Krause had a 2-out single his first time up. He's got Popoff at first. That one finds the dugout. 1-1.
Well, credit to Cameron Bagwell right now. He is really filling up the zone. That's what you ask with a very large lead. Don't mess around. Force Binghamton to have to beat you with balls in play. Very efficient, 54 pitches thus far.
Lays off the breaking ball, 2-1. You mentioned the high strikeout numbers for this Wake staff, leading the country in Ks per 9 innings, 12.2. Did not result in a win yesterday, losing 6-5 to Kentucky.
Again, just to put it into layman's terms, 27 outs in 9 innings, right? If you are taking care of almost half of the outs without balls being put in play, I mean, that is really limiting opposing offense's opportunities to do damage.
Well, Bagwell has Wake's only complete game and complete game shutout for the Deacons pitching staff this season. That came against Liberty in mid-March. He's gone 90 pitches plus 3 times this year. Runner on the move and another foul ball.
Yeah, he was a midweek starter early, then found his way into the weekend. And Tom Walter had said we could go about 8 or 9 candidates for weekend starting potential. It's an embarrassment of riches to have that amount of depth of talent. You could pick names out of a hat and feel confident to win a weekend series.
Swing and a miss, and that will take care of Krause. A walk and 1 left, 3 stranded by the Bearcats today.
real fun just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on.
We are less than 2 weeks away from the 75th College World Series in Omaha. Wake Forest needing a win to stay alive in this regional with an 8-0 lead as we head to the 5th. Demon Deacon scored 5 runs on 6 hits in the 4th.
You mentioned the weather. It has been picture perfect here for us the first 2 days. Already some regionals affected by that and having some games finish earlier this morning.
By the way, you're just throwing that in their face that they were all at the ballpark into the early hours or got washed out.
I just appreciate.
We were enjoying a nice dinner.
Yeah, they were watching us on Squeeze Play. Appreciate it.
Henning, nice play at third after being errant with a couple of tosses recently. 1 down.
Much better footwork there and under control from Henning for sure.
So, have those games closed up already?
We've got Georgia 18-2 over LIU. So take one more look at Henning. Much more under control right here. That's the accuracy and the strength on the arm you're looking for. Well done there. Oklahoma 8, Citadel 3. That's in Atlanta. And UCF.
They started at 9 a.m. in
Yes.
Midtown Atlanta.
UCF has defeated NC State in Auburn on the Plains 9-3. Of course, the headliner still 4 1 seeds falling yesterday, including the #1 overall team, UCLA, and that is massive for implications here in Morgantown. Los Angeles Regional teamed up with the Morgantown Regional for the Supers.
Driven to right center field off the bat of Schaff, and that one hops the fence. Schaff will motor into second and be content with a double. It's another double for Wake Forest. And Blake Schaff in the 8-hole is 3 for 3.
Oh, he's just a hitting machine. Again, transferred from Georgetown. Last year led the Hoyas in hitting. Has picked up right where he's left off through the year. Another extra base hit. Is that 5 now for this offense?
Yeah, 10 hits, 5 of them are doubles, and we've been able to see that dance 5 times, or a version of.
We'll need to get some intel on who started it and who's prolonging it.
Breaking ball to greet J.D. Stein. He's 1 for 2. Got a knock and a run in the 4th.
Developing situation in Chapel Hill. 4-seed VCU up on Tennessee 3-2 heading to the top of the 5th. After the marathon 14-inning loss for Josh Elander's club, it is right back to it and on the outside looking in right now.
Up the middle, past the diving Stelrek. Schaff is going to come around to score. Now 9-0. And Stein with a breakout game after an 0-for yesterday.
Yeah, now 5 hits from the 8 and 9 hole hitters. Schaff has 3. Here's the second now for J.D. Stein. And after a real tough opener yesterday, much more under control with the at-bats. Has seen the ball a lot longer. Good secondary by Schaff. He'll come around to score. Now the Deacons have scored in 4 consecutive innings. They push their lead to 9-0.
Top of the order, Javar Williams. Squeezed one home last time up. Williams 1 for 3 with a run scored. Ahead in the count 2-0 to Javar Williams.
Much more Wake-esque offensively today, and they've needed it. How about the ACC overall yesterday? Tough day for the conference, 3-6.
Florida State headlining loss. It's a 1 seed. Ben's in for a strike, 2-1.
Good breaking ball right there, and Again, when you're looking at it from Binghamton's standpoint, it's just trying to find a zero at some point. Won't be in this inning. But 7 for 14 Wake with runners in scoring position so far today.
Runner on the move, pitches away. The throw down to second is high. And a stolen base for Stein. If you're curious, and you've probably seen some scores which would validate this, but there is no run rule or mercy rule in the postseason, as opposed to a 10-run mercy rule during regular season play. Ripped up the middle. Stein will be waved home by Salento, and into second head first, nearly overslid the bag, but Williams drops anchor with his second hit and another RBI.
6th extra base hit from the Demon Deacons offense. Count another here, and the hit parade continues. They're into double digits. 12 hits, 10 runs total, and Javar Williams, 7 of the 9 starters for Wake Forest offense with at least 1 hit, and that one likely will end Hayden Tarsia's afternoon.
So Tarsia allowed hits to 5 of the 8 batters he faced. Luke Costello will be facing a new Binghamton pitcher as Brady Bouchard enters for the Bearcats. We've got UFL action all weekend. Houston hits the road to take on Birmingham today at 3 Eastern on ESPN2. Then Sunday at noon, it's Orlando at DC on ABC. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app. So we'll have football to follow us. And then later on ESPN2, Arkansas battles Kansas in Lawrence. And the nightcap will have A&M matching up with Texas State at Bluebell Park.
Brady Bouchard on now for the Binghamton Bearcats, right-hander.
And for a strike to Luke Costello. Bouchard was part of that rotation shuffle earlier this season. Sophomore right-hander, 6'2", 210. ERA of 7.5. And Bouchard moved from the weekend number 2 to the pen at the end of March. He got the start against Georgia in the NCAA tournament last year in the opener.
All rookie selection there for the America East last year. Only one earned run allowed in his last 5 1/3 in 3 games coming into this appearance. Put a bow on that ACC discussion we were just having. You know, Miami ends up winning, and of course North Carolina advancing to the 1-0 game. I just think what's remarkable is you look at teams that on paper should have been able to take care of business yesterday. They don't get it across. A lot of those schools on the ropes here later on today. You know, Virginia was one of those teams you were looking at in the Hattiesburg Regional. Could they have an opportunity to get through? Pitching had been tough for them. Talked about Virginia Tech and a 1-2 matchup against UCLA in the Los Angeles Regional. Florida State might be the big. Is that the bigger shocker for you?
Not bigger than UCLA,
well,
but within the ACC,
yes. Correct.
And Elliot Avant's career is on the line this afternoon on ESPN. NC State's head coach is retiring at the conclusion of the season. They've got Auburn in an elimination game. That the Auburn loss, that was also a shocker for one of the best pitching staffs in the country to get hit around.
And to give up double digits in your own backyard the way they did. Very much one of the jolting results there. Again, 4-1 seeds falling. That ties for second most since the current regional format was adopted. So number 1 UCLA, number 4 Auburn, number 9 Southern Miss, and number 10 Florida State.
Here's Cade Lewis, and he looks at a first pitch strike. You mentioned Miami. They'll be in action later tonight in Gainesville on the ACC network, weather permitting, because they had to dodge some rain showers in Rainsville yesterday. Florida swept Miami during the regular season.
We were kind of hoping that UC Santa Barbara would win yesterday too, so we get a potential Jackson Flora, Dylan Volantis start. That's not going to happen in Austin.
Yeah, if you're unaware, Jackson Flora for the Gauchos is projected to be the number 1 pitcher taken off the board in the draft this summer. He leads the country in ERA. Here's what we've got going on today.
Yeah, you think about the big arms around, and
some national seeds whose seasons are on the line.
Yeah, I mean, you think about a lot of teams.
Soft liner. That'll close the inning. Jensen will continue his thought when we return for the bottom of the 5th. Wake Forest has danced its way to a 10-run, 12-hit afternoon. Clash in Italy hits this Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern. Catch the first hour live on ESPN and stream the entire event on the ESPN app with an ESPN Unlimited plan. Kentucky fans hanging out the tailgate ready for their game this afternoon against West Virginia. Yesterday was my first, yours too, but our first trip ever here to Morgantown to see baseball in this ballpark. This ball is launched to left field. It is clear of the wall and gone for a leadoff home run for Zachary Anderson, his 7th of the year.
Well, this weather probably feels like where he used to be in California, the junior college transfer. coming all the way east to be a part of the Bearcats. He gets up their first run with a big blast here to left center. That's just an elevated fastball, and he turned and burned. And perfect placement just to the right of the elevated padding. Shout out to the bullpen. Boys are on the board.
Mike Stelrek is 1 for 1 today with a single. Now down in the count, 0-1. So anyway, our first game here at this ballpark yesterday, and first West Virginia game, we were rushing out of here to try to beat the traffic, and I had to stop and admire country roads where they sang post game. What an incredible experience and a fantastic college tradition. With the entire team lined up in front of the home dugout and saluting the fans, and I don't think anybody left. They all stuck around to sing. Sun was setting in the corner. What a amazing scene here at Kendrick Family Ballpark.
Our vantage point as good as it gets, right, partner? And one of the great landscapes, elevated up looking, 1,000, 1,200 feet in the air. And
yeah, there is some elevation at this ballpark, not relative to other college ballparks necessarily, but against other big league ballparks, this would be the second highest elevation behind only, of course, Colorado. Now in the college ranks, Air Force, BYU, Utah, New Mexico, they all are over 4,000 plus. This one driven to the gap in right center. That will hop over the wall for an automatic double and a couple of extra base hits for Binghamton against Cam Bagwell here in the 5th.
And Mike Stelrek, one of the 3 tri-captains on this Bearcat club. A couple of hits and an RBI in the Athens Regional last year. He collects an extra base hit. Again, elevated in the zone. The flag's starting to kind of push that way a little bit too, and ball's traveling decently well here in Morgantown this afternoon.
And now the 9-hole Tim Henning. You had to pitch in elevation a few times.
Oof. Yes.
Got some PTSD from it?
No, I mean, we're through the therapy portion of it. Had a stint with the Diamondbacks in 2012, our home ballpark in Reno. Already a mile plus up in the air. Whew. That's where they told you if you had an ERA under 450, you were dealing. And that just did not equate coming from the big leagues. And
well, for a Vanderbilt product, you're not used to be graded on a curve anyway.
No, we're not. It is not a pass-fail place.
Tim Henning 0 for 1 with a pop up to right. Binghamton making some noise here in the 5th inning. It's about the time that they crawled back into the game, or threatened to, against West Virginia last night, when they loaded the bases in the 5th and brought the tying run to the plate. And they did it with the bottom of the order. Kraus reached, Stelrek with a single, and then top of the order couldn't knock him in.
That's really where all the offense has come from. That Bearcat order, top 5 in the order so far today. Gonzalez, Sweeney, Bolton, Popoff, and Kent. 0 for 9 thus far. First 13 innings of this regional with just 1 extra base hit. Last 2 batters have 2 themselves.
And a walk, so the bottom third of the order goes home run, double, walk against Bagwell. And we had just finished the 4th talking about the need for Bagwell to get deep into this game if Wake is able to preserve some pitching throughout this tournament.
Just starting to see a little bit of stirring in the Demon Deacons bullpen. We'll get a visit to the mound here from pitching coach Eric Neeson. And again, these are all bonus outs now. It's still relatively efficient here with 72 pitches. But no outs now, and man, if you were hoping to get through 6 innings the way you have this lead right now, that would be so advantageous, knowing that if you're able to get through, you'll take on the loser of tonight's West Virginia-Kentucky matchup.
And keep in mind, the regional final Sunday at 5 is only the final for the 2-0 team. If the one-loss team wins, that will force us into a Game 7 Monday midday. And that's the chance for Wake Forest to continue to advance.
It'll be Big Max Yale taking the mound. Big 12 pitcher of the year for West Virginia later on tonight. See where Coach Nick Mingione goes for Kentucky. I think Nate Harris will be a candidate. But right now, that man right there, Cam Bagwell, try and find a ground ball here, get a couple of outs, and try and stem the tide.
Well, Nick Mingione told us last night that their injured player, Luke Lawrence, who got hit by a pitch in the 6th inning, had negative x-rays, so that's good news, but he's still in pain, and he's going to be a game-time decision today. And that would be a big shuffle for a Kentucky team who's had to deal with a plethora of injuries throughout the course of the season.
Now, middle of the order bat and what he means to you, not only from an on-field perspective, but a morale perspective too.
That one has eyes, and it gets into left field, and Binghamton has loaded them up here in the 5th inning following the leadoff home run from Zach Anderson.
Just went with the pitch. Braylon Gonzalez not trying to do too much. Prototypical leadoff hitter. I'll take what you give me. And all of a sudden, developing situation here in Morgantown. Bearcats starting to claw their way back into this one.
Lake Morningstar will likely be the next pitcher for Wake. We'll see how quickly they go to him. Sean Sweeney bounced into a double play his last time up. Wake would happily take that right now. The first pitch breaking ball to Sweeney, who's 0 for 2.
And as a pitcher in these situations, again, if it was a ringing, double, single action, it'd be one thing, but a couple of seeing eye singles too to prolong this inning. Now Cam Bagwell just trying to find some sort of pitch to try and get something on the ground to turn 2.
Binghamton trying to mount a comeback. They're looking for their second NCAA win. They won 1 game in their first appearance in 2009. They have lost 11 consecutive since then. To third, behind the bag, pickup in fair territory, and a race over there by Wentz to get the force, but it brings a run home.
Smart decision. You could see Wentz scampering to the bag. You got to be sure of one. And a little thought process. Could I try and unload it over to first base? Heads up play though to get the first, but not before another run comes across.
So here's Bolton. A couple of ground outs from him today.
You'd have loved to have seen the bases loaded if you're a Bearcat fan coming into the regional. Bolton 5 for 10 this year with the sacks packed there, but we'll try to continue adding on to this run total.
Bolton was a tournament MVP in the America East. He went 5 for 9. Of those 5 hits, 2 doubles and a home run. Home run was a 2-run shot in the championship game. And he had 5 hits the weekend prior in the regular season series finale against UMass Lowell. That one off the end of the glove of Wentz. And it allows Bolton to reach, and they've loaded the bases again. The left side of the infield for Wake Forest has been a sticking point. 27 errors combined between Wentz and Stein, both among the top 10 in errors committed in the ACC this year.
This is wild. Again, not hit terribly hard, and it didn't feel like this was too much of an in-between hop. He just didn't get down far enough. So another break that goes the Bearcats' way. They've reloaded it, and here we go.
Tommy Popoff trying to live up to the name. Upstairs to the Binghamton catcher. Sophomore from Mount Royal, New Jersey, at a Kingsway High School. Came into the postseason with 35 ribbies over his last 18 games.
Yeah, Pete Bolton, Sean Sweeney, first team All-America East. 2, 3, 4 in the lineup. This is where the bread's buttered, man. Big hit here and lots of things can happen.
Popoff, a first-year starter behind the plate. Only 9 games played last year. Can't find 91. 1 and 2.
Cam Bagwell's been pretty solid with runners in scoring position, but it's been against the left-handers. 0.95 average against, and jumps to 258 against righties.
Popped up, right center, ball carrying. Williams all the way back to the track, and he makes the catch there with the ball up into the jet stream. Everybody will advance 90 feet, and a sac fly for Popoff pushes another run across for the Bearcats.
Wow, put a pin in that one. That ball did not feel like it was hit real hard off the bat. Just 97 mile an hour exit velo. But the wind has certainly played a factor and has picked up a little bit. That carried plenty out there to count another run. And now 10-3 Wake Forest with the lead.
Zach Kent is the 8th batter of the inning for the Bearcats. And he looks at a first pitch strike. 1 home run in the season. Zach Kent trying to play the role of Clark Kent here and put a Bolton 1 for the Bearcats. And now the Bearcats, you heard the reaction from the crowd. They're picking up, as the crowd favorite, some support from the West Virginia folks. They would love to see the 4-seed advance, but Kent caught looking to end the inning. And Bearcats strand a pair as Kent gets squeezed in his at bat, but a 2-run frame for Binghamton.
Welcome to Squeeze Play. All the highlights, all the big moments.
You got a chance to have some big-time fireworks.
6 to 8 games on the screen at one time.
You're going to be locked in for that.
The season on the line.
Hashtag Squeeze Play. Send us some tweets. Maybe we'll put you on the social wall.
The storybook season will continue.
Squeeze play was rocking and rolling all day yesterday, highlighted by the UCLA loss to St. Mary's, and it's going strong again today. VCU on the verge of eliminating Tennessee, 5-2 lead in the middle innings in Chapel Hill. This is Dalton Wentz. Pops it up to left. Wynn's going to play some tricks with it. And Kent plays it perfectly. A little bit of stress here. The national seeds and elimination games today. If you're unfamiliar with college baseball, top 16 national seeds get a chance to host. Top 8 seeds, if they win, would host in the second round as well.
You got a couple of big pitchers, top prospects on the mound. Cam Fluke for Coastal Carolina against Florida State. Wes Mendez for the Seminoles trying to stay alive. 100 Dietz later on, Arkansas, Kansas. That will be a dandy of an atmosphere in Lawrence for sure.
What a job they've done building that Kansas roster with heavy transfer portal usage from guys from JUCO and Division II.
Also Mason Edwards for Southern Cal. Jackson Flora will probably have a lot of people watching on Squeeze Play to see how he goes today.
Number 4 prospect in this year's draft, according to Kylie McDaniel. Conti taps out to second. 1 down. I had UCSB earlier in the season, and that coaching staff at the time, the projection was, well, they might get sent to UCLA. USC was in chats for a host, and they said, no, we don't want to be on the West Coast. We want to go somewhere we can surprise teams that aren't familiar with us.
Yeah.
Well, they got surprised yesterday when they threw off instead of sending Florida to the mound in their opener.
Yeah, you were hoping if you're in the Austin regional, it would have been Texas with Dylan Volantis on the hill tonight against Flora, what would have been easily the best pitching matchup head-to-head of day 2.
Texas didn't make it out of its regional last year after winning the SEC regular season. In for a strike to Boston Torres, who is 0 for today.
How about 114 home runs hit yesterday? And speaking of some power and dodging raindrops in other places, we obviously saw a surge here yesterday.
It's a big number.
And especially the way, now that we've got a day under our belts here and seeing how and the wind has already played a little havoc here with some fly balls this afternoon.
Good.
You get it up into left field, you better be concentrating pretty hard because it changes each half inning.
Two. Swing and a miss. 1-2-3 frame worked by Brady Bouchard, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 10-3 Wake. Bottom of the 6th, Wake Forest up a touchdown. For complete coverage of everything happening in the baseball regionals, head to ncaa.com for the latest news. Expert insight and analysis. That would include a record-setting day for 3 home run games yesterday. 4 players hit 3 homers on Friday. It's the most 3-homer games in a full tournament this decade, and that was only day number 1. Hot shot up the middle, and Steven Krause jumps on the first pitch for a leadoff single. Second leadoff man to reach against Bagwell in the last 2 innings.
114 total homers yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, that was a big one. Most through the opening day of regionals this decade. Tops the 97 that were hit in 21 for the most of Friday in regional play. Get that gate open. That was like you trying to get out of the hotel yesterday.
I was just saying, I thought you were going to blow me up for trying to get the side gate walk up the hill yesterday.
Yeah, you have an issue with doors, don't you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, twice yesterday.
Well, that's an outlier.
It's a trend.
It's an outlier.
1-0 is laced to left outside the reach of Stein.
Well, speaking of doors, we may be seeing that Wake Forest bullpen door open sooner than later. This is now back-to-back innings that Binghamton has had some really outstanding at-bats putting it together. We're going to get a visit. As Matt Connie going to buy some time for the Demon Deacons bullpen to get firing here quickly.
By the way, you talked about the home runs yesterday. Georgia Tech beat Illinois Chicago 22-5. The Jackets hit 7 home runs. Oof. It's the most in a postseason game in program history. And here are the big hitters and pitchers yesterday. How about Nick Lewis for Washington State? Complete game against Oregon on 103 pitches.
We are just loaded with top talent. Mentioned it yesterday, bears repeating. You're probably going to see half the first round of the Major League Baseball draft upcoming with names that are all across the nation in these regionals, and that just tells you the health of the game, the star power. It's been amazing.
By the way, Anthony Pack for Texas is the first Longhorn with 3 homers in a tournament game. He entered the postseason with only 7 home runs all season. Holy Cross allowed 19 Longhorn runs. That's the most in program history. A little flare to left. Torres racing in. That one's got some spin on it. It gets all the way to the warning track. It'll load the bases for the Bearcats again. How about the bottom half of the order for Binghamton?
You've got 2 for 3 day from Kraus. Zach Anderson 2 for 3. Again, it's just simply putting the ball in play. Good things could happen. This thing tailed, and it kind of actually stayed. The wind was pushing it back as it was forced to the right. Perfect placement, and here we go again.
Well, Cam Bagwell was pushed to a 10-0 lead, gave up 3 in the 5th, and he's loaded the bases here again in the 6th. And the cushion wasn't enough for him to pick up more outs. The Bearcats down double digits, got aggressive early in the count with Bagwell being around the zone. And that'll close his day after 5 innings and 94 pitches. We'll tell you about the new Wake reliever when you bring it back to the ballpark here in Morgantown.
Senior lefty Zach Johnston on the hill in relief for the Demon Deacons. 6'5", 200 pounds from North Yarmouth, up in the Northeast. And you see the numbers, 20th appearance of the season. He'll be tasked to put out yet another fire. Back-to-back innings now that this Wake pitching staff has had to deal with a bases-loaded, no-out situation. And it will be the lefty, Tim Henning, who's going to get the call. Matchup based right here, and you see what the Bearcat offense is. They have come alive here in the last 2 innings. There's at least 6 hits, I should say, through the first 13 innings into this afternoon, and now 6 in just the last 2 innings alone.
Bagwell leaves after 5 innings, allowed 8 hits. And 6 of those 8 in the last 2 frames. Henning drew a walk last time. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball.
This was a strict matchup-based decision here. Zach Johnson with runners in scoring position, 0.83 average against left-handed batters. Against righties, it skyrockets to 375. Back-to-back lefties for the Bearcats due up.
Another breaking ball. Runner at third is Kraus. He reached with a single. Anderson is at second, and Stelrek at first after his bloop single. That'll take care of Henning.
Now the fastball slider combination is what you'll see from Zach Johnson, and why not stick with the slider? 103 average against. You can see why. A boomerang right there to Tim Henning. No chance to put that one in play. Massive first out here for the Wake Forest left-hander.
And here's Braylon Gonzalez hitting 80 points lighter against lefties this year. And he's only hitting 105 against breaking balls.
Expect a healthy dose.
Yeah. To third. Wentz goes to second for one. One hopper to first in time. 5-4-3 double play. Johnson does his job. Bearcats had the bases loaded, nobody out, they get nothing.
Well, this was huge. A bases loaded spot. What do you need? The old pitcher's friend, the inning ending double play.
It's a 10-3 lead for Wake Forest as we go to the top of the seventh inning. Cam Bagwell will head back to the bullpen and get some stretching in after 5 innings and 94 pitches. This was his reaction when Zach Johnson got the double play to end the inning.
Twofold, right? Hey, we get out of a big situation and my ERA doesn't go up any further.
Thank you very much.
It's a steak dinner in the big leagues. Take care of your reliever, strand some runners.
It was Andrew Costello, 0 for 3.
Tell you, been pretty impressed with Bouchard. Inning and 2/3, hitless, scoreless so far. A couple of punch outs. He is coming with the fury.
Off the thumbs and straight back.
It's a big momentum killer there for Binghamton, and kind of a sigh of relief if you're Wake Forest. Back-to-back innings where you're starting to bend a little bit. You love your offense to kind of punch back now and reassert some authority.
And after building a 10-0 lead, you also wouldn't mind getting back to the hotel and getting some rest in for your game tomorrow if the score holds. Costello strikes out for the second time.
Bouchard is making some quick work here, man. You look at this line thus far. He's only needed 26 pitches to get 6 outs. That's a great down angle fastball, good late life and movement. Strikeout looking here to start the top of the 7th.
Blake Schaff. He has crushed right-handed pitching this year. 347 average, an OPS of 1015. And 4 of his 5 home runs have come against righties. He is 3 for 3 today.
Only Torres and Andrew Costello. Those are the 2 guys in the starting lineup for Wake without a hit today. Bottom 2, Schaff and Stein, 5 for 8.
Chases the changeup. It's been his Achilles heel, hitting .091 against changeups this year. Torres and Costello, the only 2 without a hit.
And 5 for 6, as we mentioned, the bottom 2 guys, and Schaff and Stein. You got multi-hit efforts right in the middle. Usual suspects: Cade Lewis, Dalton Wentz.
And a walk puts Schaff aboard in front of Stein. Stein able to flush yesterday's performance. He started this tournament 0 for 5 with 4 Ks, but he has singles and runs scored in each of his last 2 plate appearances.
Boy, what a difference a day makes for him. Yesterday just kind of looked lost, not able to put the ball in play. Today, just kind of wipe it away and right back to it. 20th at bat now for Wake today with a runner on base, 6 extra base hits. They have had these opportunities. They've taken advantage.
Just foul. See the scoreboard in the top right corner. Georgia had a suspended game last night, came back to put the finishing touches on its opening round win. And the strategy of a number of these host site teams, they get to pick they want to go first or second on day number 1. We've seen the impact the weather's had throughout the country. A flip to second for 1, 4, 6, 3. Beautiful double play turn by Sean Sweeney and Mike Stelrek with Krause on the receiving end. A couple twin killings the last 2 innings.
A little scoop job by Krause to finish this one off, but come on, Brady Bouchard, spotless relief. Binghamton hanging tough. We stretch in Morgantown.
You're watching the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Try to reassert our focus here as we move to the home half of the seventh. It'll be Sweeney, Bolton, and Popoff coming to the plate.
Can't emphasize that enough. Hey, get some food in you before we get the nightcap in too.
First pitch fastball misses to Sweeney. We have seen 3 double plays in this game. Wentz on the run, 1 down. No surprise on the Binghamton side. They lead the America East in double plays turn, but Wake is 181st in the country in fielding percentage and bottom 3rd in the ACC in that mark.
Played a role yesterday, right? Allowed Kentucky some extra outs to keep the offense going. Some late inning heroics. Crooked number from the Wildcats. And some extra outs this afternoon. It's allowed Binghamton to get back in the fight.
In for a strike, 1-1.
Again, Zach Johnston, lefty in now in relief. About 89, 92 on the fastball. That slider is the primary put away pitch. 103 average against from both sides of the plate.
1-2. The Bolton misses low and away. Thought that was strike 3. He'll have to get back on the rubber.
Not sure if I would have pled my case on that one. It looked fairly off the plate.
That's off the plate. Wentz charging. Gonna have to hurry. Got him.
Oh, man. Wow. Some serious athleticism on display from numero uno. Dalton Wentz covering a mountainous range of real estate here to get this one. Great job staying low and then in tandem with the arm strength on the run to gun down one of the best of the Bearcats, and he's loving it.
And here's Tommy Popoff. Chips one foul, 0-1. Sack fly for Popoff back in the 5th. And he drives one to center. Get the Popoff in the 5th, and now a fly out to 7th to close this inning. To the 8th we go, 10-3 Wake. ESPN is the home of MLB.tv. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLB.tv. We're only 55 miles from PNC Park. Vandy star Brian Reynolds in a walk-off home run for the Pirates against the Twins last night. Jabbar Williams leads off the 8th, and this is Paul Skeens in the back of this group. He came down here with his personal pitching coach to throw a bullpen here at this facility instead of throwing his bullpen in Pittsburgh. Why would a major league pitcher get in the car and drive an hour 20 minutes to throw a bullpen here?
Well, one of the cutting edge portions of this facility is right beyond the right center wall. That is the biomechanics hub, where Paul Skeens came in and was able to dabble in what is as cutting edge a performance center for not only pitchers but hitters, and had a chance to go through that on Thursday. If you are a TrackMan disciple, if you're looking at any different way to get better, the Biomechanics and Performance Center, this is as cutting edge and as cool of a spot you'll see anywhere in the country.
Williams puts a charge in this one. It is to the facility. And a leadoff home run for Jabbar Williams. That's his 3rd hit of the game.
Speaking into existence, Jabbar Williams wanted to add a little extra out there beyond the right center wall, and well, that's a counter punch you were looking for if you're Wake Forest. Lying dormant for a couple of innings after scoring in 4 consecutive from the 2nd through the 5th. Get the biometrics readout on this one. Exit velo of 100 miles an hour. 363 off the bat, a little wind dated as we see the flags at attention now.
So I thought it was interesting talking with the West Virginia folks and celebrate with the football helmet about Skeens throwing that pen, and you saw the entire team was here to watch the reigning Cy Young Award winner throw. And Max Yale was there to watch. He's the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. He'll start tonight for West Virginia. And he said, I learned that Paul Skeens keeps it really simple. And he said, I learned that sometimes I'm guilty of overthinking everything. And so Skeens not only had a chance to use the facility, but also took time to talk with the team. And what a wonderful experience for this West Virginia roster to hear from a guy who's at the top of the game.
And not only the experience, but Max Yale saying, watching Paul Skeens throw a bullpen, simulating basically every game situation, even looking back to second for a fake runner that wasn't there.
I wasn't aware that that's how a guy would throw a bullpen. Hey, were you familiar with that? Is that something that big leaguers do regularly?
If you're Paul Skeens, not taking a rep off, not taking anything for granted, yes.
So that's an outlier.
That is certainly elite, best of the best. But to kind of parlay off where Max Yale was from a mentality standpoint, and he told us, he took away like, hey, just keep it simple, man. You got great stuff. Let it play.
Yeah.
And he said it was really cool to hear arguably the best to do it right now. Just say it the way that he did.
Outside to Cade Lewis, 2-1.
Speaking of the big league angle, Corey Kluber, when he won his first Cy Young with then the Cleveland Indians, would bring the starters out to watch. And so every guy had eyes on Kluber and how they were able to consume. He did it kind of similarly. Simulate a game. I want to work. If I'm working on it here, I want to be able to take it into my outing. And each guy was able to kind of say, all right, I see this from you. The feedback was great, and it was the iron sharpening iron mentality.
Lewis with a ringing ground ball to Sweeney. We'll see Max Yale later tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. And West Virginia will have another sellout crowd here as Kentucky rolls in, coming off of a 6-5 win over Wake yesterday. And then we have another elimination game Sunday at noon between the loser of tonight's game and the winner of today's game. 2 down for Dalton Wentz. Well, you added something to it, and it's not to talk less of any one program. Here's Gonzalez into the corner. But the fact that Paul Skeens was happy to throw a bullpen and see all the numbers outside of the watchful eyes of his own organization, which I thought was very interesting. 11-3 Wake. I hope he All right, thanks, Lowell. And who's following us as soon as we finish here. And then continuing on ESPN2, we'll have Kansas and Arkansas slated for a 6 o'clock start, and A&M and Texas State at 9 o'clock on E2.
They're into the 7th in Chapel Hill. VCU still a 5-3 lead over Tennessee in that eliminator.
Swing and a miss for Kent. Nobody had a more tumultuous offseason in college baseball than Tennessee when Tony Vitello owns a national championship, left for the Giants job, took not only the pitching coach Frank Anderson, but also strength and conditioning coach, who's a big part of the program development. His assistant Josh Elander takes over with expectations through the roof on Rocky Top. And the highlight, though, in that offseason was Elander being able to keep that roster together, but I think it's fair to say, relative to recent years, an underperforming season for the Vols.
Now think about it. Tegan Kuhn's going today, and you would think, all right, we got our guy. Let's get us back in the fight. But VCU was one of those 4 seeds you looked at and like, might be a 4 next to the name, but definitely better than that.
Zach Kent hits that one 69 miles an hour right back up the middle for a leadoff single. Binghamton has really put together some hits since the 5th inning.
They are, I mean, the way that they have been able to adjust, even with Bagwell, they gave him some fits to chase him at the end and have really done a great job adjusting the approach. A couple extra base hits, a couple of walks.
Here's Kraus, and he swings at the first, up the middle, another chance for 2. Schaff, yes, sir! Schaff, you are one bad middle infield.
You are one bad man indeed. How about it, take it yourself? A little service for 1 on the double play. Ball's taking him up the middle, right? He's got to get a good first step. He does in tandem, able to touch the bag, and the arm strength cross his body. Telling J.D. Stein, no thanks, I got it.
That is the 3rd double play turned by the Wake infield today to balance out some of the mistakes they've made, including a couple of errors. Be the end of the line for Zach Johnston with 2 down in the 8th inning. Zach Anderson due up. Wake will go to the bullpen for the 2nd time in this game. 5th time this year the Demon Deacons have turned 3 or more double plays. Time for our Capital One rewarding performance, and the Wake Forest bats got loud early. A 2-run second, a 5-run fourth, 11 runs on 13 hits, 7 of them for extra bases.
And that one, the punctuation mark. Solo homer from Jabbar Williams. And we will see if that offensive outburst will carry them through to stay alive in this Morgantown Regional. They are set up with a healthy lead, and they will turn to one of their relief aces in Blake Morningstar, who will now ascend the hill. 4-pitch mix, fastball, cutter, curve. Most of the time we'll see some slider and change. 91 to 95 on the fastball, and a guy that has meant so much as a junior, a lot of experience, big tall right-hander, and he will be tasked with trying to get this one across the line.
And the first pitch goes to third. Wentz has it. 1 pitch, 1 out. Can't be any more efficient than that. We go to the 9th, Wake up by 8. The NCAA Baseball Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Bearcats get a new pitcher on the mound as they try to hold Wake scoreless. Only trailing by 8 on a gorgeous day. I mean, we've got blankets and hoodies and sunshine. It is perfect.
Just a touch under 70 right here with a little breeze out to right. And we get a new Bearcat arm, Aiden Milburn, The sophomore right-hander stepped into the closer's role after a little mid-season shift, has 3 saves on the season. Again, a little fastball mix with cutter, slider, and curve. Probably see more of the cut fastball here to righties and some sliders as well.
Sophomore's 5-2 with a 4.24 ERA. Twice as many strikeouts as walks. Matt Conti watches that offering miss, 1-1. Bouchard gave him 3 2/3 of 1-run relief.
He was outstanding. 48 pitches to collect 11 outs there too.
Only allowed 1 hit. Into the gap in right center. Long run for everybody, and that one hops against the fence. It's another double for Wake Forest, and it's the second for Conti today.
8th extra base hit, and this is exactly the offensive outburst you were hoping for after limited in situations most of yesterday. This is just a simple elevated pitch, and he's able to just drive it with authority. Right center has been an absolute jet stream so far this afternoon, Tom. Wonder if that will continue later on this afternoon. It was a little bit out to left as we got to the later stages between Kentucky and Wake yesterday to open this Morgantown Regional, but he will come off to high fives all around. Outstanding offensive day there for the sophomore.
Tyler Figueroa is the pinch runner for Wake, and I've got your weather report. Boston Torres at the plate. Wind blowing 8 to 10 out of the north-northeast. That would be left to right in this ballpark.
Yeah, that checks.
Oh, 1 to Torres. In for a strike.
Wake Forest 8 for 17 today with runners in scoring position. Good for a .471 team average this afternoon.
Into center, Bolton nearly misplayed it. 1 down.
Almost felt that was like knuckling out there the way that he was going left and right. But the Wake offense, 20th time, Tom, this year, 10 or more runs scored in a ball game, all with at least 1 homer.
And this is the second most extra base hits this season for the Deacons, with 8 of them today. 7 doubles and a home run. Well hit to center. Bolton tracks it down. 2 down.
Much cleaner read right there as it just tailed into right center a little bit, but 2 loud outs against Aiden Milburn here in the 9th.
Here's Blake Schaff. By the way, they got delayed in Kansas today.
Oh.
Their Game 3 start got pushed back. It's the 8th regional site. That's half of them to have a game impacted by weather in this year's tournament.
Tennessee now closed the gap against VCU, down by 1 in the top of the 8th.
Not an issue here.
No, and we are grateful for it many times over.
Schaff has reached all 4 times he's come to the plate today. 3 hits and a walk. And he has played stellar on the defensive side.
Probably all around best effort both sides of the ball tonight. With Wentz, Schaff going to be a candidate. The best offensive performance, perfect on the afternoon thus far.
He was hitless yesterday against Kentucky. Now 1 and 2. Peeking ahead to the Bearcats' 9th, it'll be Stelrek, Henning, and Gonzalez due up. They'll need a massive inning to try and extend their season. Little flare into center. Figueroa around third. 12th run of the game for Wake Forest.
and a perfect 4 for 4 afternoon. Bottom of this lineup for the Demon Deacons, leading the way and leading it all overall. Blake Schaap, just simple piece of hitting, dumps it into center field. That was a breaking ball. And what an afternoon. 8-9 so far in the Demon Deacons lineup. 6 for 8, and just a beautiful job turning this over a couple of times.
So Stein trying to continue his run. And a breaking ball missed inside, 1-0.
Fourth time that Wake Forest under Tom Walter has faced Binghamton. They're a perfect 3-0 coming into today, and barring something unforeseen, they will move that to 4-0.
Stein puts it in the air. Bolton calls for it. Last chance for Binghamton. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing by 9. A loud afternoon for the Wake Forest offense. 12 runs on 15 hits. And Blake Schaap leading the way with a 4 for 4 day. Kentucky ready to go. We'll broadcast Game 2 today between West Virginia and Kentucky live on the SEC network. And as always, available on the ESPN app. They'll clear the building between games, so Mountaineer fans already queued up and ready to go.
We are pretty much lined all the way down over the right field line too, high above in the free seats.
Free seats.
Overlooking.
My kind of deal.
Well, fair amount of Mountaineer fans getting all set up, ready to go, enjoying the afternoon early. Expecting a raucous environment tonight.
They're going to ease into it.
I'll throw the challenge flag on that.
Well, I mean, she's reading a book right now. We got multiple people reading books. We're going to ease into it.
Some people, we already saw, we pulled in the parking lot today, already seeing some gentlemen of leisure.
Yes. The ice had yet to melt.
Getting the carb load up.
Mike Stelrek, 4-year starter at shortstop for Binghamton. Goes down swinging here in the 9th.
Stelrek, one of the 3 captains on this team, and again, such a young squad to get back to the postseason. 3rd time in the last 5 years the Bearcats have punched their ticket to the regionals. And
Jimmy Keenan's the new catcher for Wake Forest. And here's Tim Henning. Henning, third-year sophomore, second-team all-conference this year. Henning didn't like that call. And for good reason.
Yep. A little below.
Henning got off to a slow start, but closed the regular season with a .344 average over the final 30 games. Championship game of the America East tournament, he got blood on his pants and was forced to change into a second pair of trousers by the home plate umpire. The problem is the first spare pair he tried didn't fit. So he turned the dugout into a changing room and came back out, hit a 2-run double with the Newt Diggs. Back-to-back Ks for Morningstar. He's retired all 3 that he's faced. And back to the top of the order, last chance for Binghamton.
Now he's one of the 6 sophomore starters on this team that, for Tim Sidnicki's club, yes, young at heart and an experience, but a group that has accomplished so much this year. Regular season conference tournament champs of the America East. Invaluable experience for this young crop of players. They got a long runway ahead for that program.
No doubt about it. Low to Gonzalez, 1-1. Gonzalez is 1 for 4 today. 7 conference titles for Binghamton. They pulled the double this year, regular season and tournament. Down to their last out this season.
Seen them all, yeah.
He got the job when it was a Division III program, and it's got to be frustrating for Binghamton. The strike zone in the 9th inning has been expanded. Wake trying to advance to the Supers out of the elimination bracket for the first time in program history. They'll play again tomorrow at noon against the loser of Kentucky, West Virginia. This is the 8th time scoring 10 runs or more in the last 5 NCAA tournaments for the Deacons, tied with Arkansas and East Carolina for the 4th most. 2-2 on the way.
Now, credit where it's due. Binghamton has fought all the way through. They were in it yesterday. Connor Griffin held serve first couple of innings, but then the floodgates opened for the West Virginia offense. Same has transpired from Wake today.
Gonzalez hanging in there.
Wake Forest will feel much better about themselves offensively today than the squandered opportunities yesterday.
Payoff to third. Wentz. And Wake Forest advances to tomorrow's noon start against the loser of tonight's game. The Deacons stay alive, and it's the end of the line for the Bearcats after a record-setting season for Binghamton.
8 extra base hits for Wake Forest behind a 12-run attack. They stay alive, and for Tim Sidnicki's Bearcats team, a valiant effort. Their 7th trip to the regionals, 3rd in the last 5 years, but Wake will await what will be a dandy later on tonight between West Virginia and Kentucky.
So West Virginia, Kentucky coming your way on SEC Network at 5 o'clock. UFL football coming up at 3, but before then, we're going to get you some bonus coverage of squeeze play. For Jensen Lewis, our fantastic crew, I'm Tom Hart. See you again at 5 o'clock on SEC Network. Here to take you to football is Chris Budden.
getting our eyes dialed in. So yeah.